In the following video, my mind is blown by the technology of these smart scales. A $40 smart scale can do more than a DEXA scan, and it's the number one regret I have on Carnivore. I wish I would have used a smart scale from day one. So many people fall off of Carnivore because they foolishly only look at the weight-only scale when their whole body composition is changing. They're losing visceral fat. Their bone density is changing. They're having incredible healing, but because they're not measuring the right thing, they're setting themselves up for failure. I'm like, are these smart scales legit? I'm standing on this thing and it gets all this information.
And I got on it. It was $19 and it was exactly the same readout as this $12,000 machine.
So it really shocked me that it gave me that precise number. Coach Lisa Pickart of lifebacksystem.com takes me through my smart scale readings and gives me an expert analysis.
So your visceral fat came in at a 4. Most of my clients literally start on a visceral fat right about 20.
Before we jump into this video, I want to share the scale I am using. It's from a company called Bodypedia. I'm not sponsored by them. There's a link in the description below, an affiliate link if you want to purchase one on Amazon. This is a newer scale for us, but for many years, Jen was using a different scale that was about $40 on Amazon. And in this video, Coach Lisa talks about a scale that she uses as well. So there's several different options, and many of them are right around $40 or less.
Okay, so let's go to your weight. So here we are at 173.28, and your ideal weight would be about maybe 6 pounds less. Now, I really want to focus on this just for a split second, because if your liver is good and your visceral fat is good, I don't care what you weigh. You could weigh, if you feel good, you look good, and you weigh 185 pounds and you're, solid muscle, I don't care. But if we look at this and they're trying to say, well, you're very close to being obese, Carrie, and you really need to kind of pay attention to this and drop a few pounds. Personally, as your coach, I would say, no, you are doing fantastic if your visceral fat is there. So we're going to go down just a little bit. I think if you go to the next one, which is 11.51 and your body fat, you could see you're on the low side, which is fantastic. So if you're 5 up in or 6 up in your weight, but your body fat percent is going into low, man, you're spot on. And like I said, I've been saying this over and over. I don't even know how to tell you, elated that not only is your blood work great, but your in-body scale is reading exactly as we would want it to. So this is like all a win right here.
That's good to hear. One thing I wanted to say real quick, this was kind of crazy to me, this 168 being the ideal weight. That's almost always where I've been at on Carnivore. I was down to 157 at one point when I did a bunch of longer fasts, but I always bounce back to 168. So it really shocked me that it gave me that precise number. I was a little heavier when I weighed. This was just when I got back from filming Dr. Barry, and I was in the car for 14 hours drinking a bunch of water. So I bet you if I checked right now, I'd be back at the 168, but it was kind of shocking to me that it said your ideal weight is this number, because I'm like, my body sticks at that number. I'll fast, I'll drop 3 pounds, I'll go right back to 168. I'm always stuck.
So what's interesting is our body does have an optimum weight. It knows where it needs to be. And we could take 3, 5, 6, 9 men, line them all up, same height, same age, and they're not going to have the exact same structure. I actually just got through teaching on the 3 different types of bodies and how to overcome that image of us. Like if you're pear-shaped or apple-shaped, or if you're an ectomorph or an endomorph, you want to work on that. But that's only if a person wants to redesign their body. Like if you're happy with where you are and you just want to firm up, then of course that weight could come up, right? But the body fat is going to either lower or remain right where it is, which you don't need to lower it. Like literally you're really good.
I was just going to say, I was shocked at the amount of data that this scale has. And I don't know what your thoughts are, Coach Lisa. I've talked to a couple people. I talked to one individual, and I was saying to him, I'm like, are these smart scales legit? Like, I'm standing on this thing and it gets all this information. And he had actually done a DEXA scan, and he said it lined up nearly perfectly with the smart scale.
Same exact thing.
Wow, it's amazing. Some of these smart scales are like 30, 40 bucks. It's crazy.
So I did 3. I'll give you that information. So let's look at your skeletal muscle, right? And this is going to play a huge part in your longevity. So without this, you actually start to get osteoporosis. You start to hunch over, you get the hunch in the back. If you were to fall, you would actually probably be more susceptible to breaking a bone. Literally, this is the entire structure that keeps us in an upright position. Gravity and aging actually starts to knock that down. As you can see, you're in a really, really good place. Through your exercise program that we have you doing, it's going to continuously improve this. It's going to just make it that much better. So that is all super good as well.
All right.
And I wanted, okay. So on mine, so I did, there's a body, it's called Evoke. So it's an Evoke machine. It's about $14,000. I went over, a friend of mine owns a gym here in town, and I went over and I did my scan, and it came back like a 9.3, and EJ was with me. She was a 9.8, a 10 as a perfect score. I was like, wow, that's really good. Cause you look in the mirror and you're like, I really want to get rid of that skin. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he's like, man, you look great. And I'm like, well, maybe in clothes, because you constantly have this battle of the mind. And yet I came home and I got on it's called SPRI, like a spry. And I got on it. It was $19, and it was exactly the same readout as this $12,000 machine. Then I got the Hume, Hume in body scan, and I did it with holding on to the electropedians. It did it exactly the same. I said, okay, here's the icing on the cake. So I called the doc up. I'm like, hey, could you order me a DEX scan for osteoporosis and my bone density? And then could you order me one for my visceral fat and my overall condition of my body? He said, yeah, absolutely. He did. I went in and it matched it identically. So to be honest with you, the people who say throw out the $19, they're worthless. My thing is that if this is your baseline, this is what you're going to compare with, who cares? If it's off 1% or maybe even a number, it doesn't matter. It's going to help you stay on track for where you are. And by the way, we had a scale burning party, all the ladies in my group, because those scales were old school scales. You get on it, the thing goes ding, 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 comes up with what you weigh. It's not giving you any information. But if you're using this type, my word, it's giving you so much information. Don't burn those, but don't focus on the weight. Focus on the internal first. That's going to be the major win here.
That's such good advice, because I have literally witnessed people quit on carnivore because they're like, I'm checking the scale and nothing's moving. And then I've talked to other people that have a smart scale and they're like, well, if I would have looked at just the weight, it shows 0, but I actually gained this much muscle and I lost this much fat, and it shows the same total thing, but it's actual incredible progress and your body's healing on top of it. So,
well, and I've had very similar situations, Carrie, where people have been, the scale didn't move and my inches didn't change, right? And I'm like, okay, let's readjust what you're doing. And they'll tell me everything they're doing. I'm like, okay, let's try, 2 or 3 things. We're going to take these out or put them in or whatever it is. Because I have people that need to gain weight just as much as losing weight. And all of a sudden it moves and they're like, wow, I'm sold on carnivore. It's amazing. Like, that mind is completely controlled by numbers, which is an addiction, right? It's always about chasing something else, getting that dopamine hit of like, oh, I moved the scale. But that's not really what we're trying to do. We're trying to learn how to be healthy, and being healthy and having a wellness journey is being aware of what's going on inside. So I have another gal that I'm taking to the stage, and she is like, you want me to eat like 4,000 calories a day? And I'm like, yeah, if you want to get there and you're doing it carnivore, this is how you got to do it. 1 month went by and her muscle mass went up 5%. Man, she was just jumping for joy. I said, well, how's your scale doing? And she goes, who cares? I gained muscle. I was like, bam, we broke that addiction. Because prior to that, for over a year now, she has literally said, coach, the scale, the scale, the scale. And so we started doing these little lives together where she was showing hers and I would show mine every single week. And I could work out 5 days a week and nothing moves, not one thing, because I have a consistency maintenance program. So important, because everybody thinks you do it one time and you never have to do it again. You need a maintenance program. And if you don't have a maintenance program, you could get sideways real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this one I loved. I have to address this one really quick. So your composition analysis here, we were looking at water, minerals, body fat, and protein. And then it's interesting to me how it said,
quick interruption. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about our documentary, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet, or supporting it, please visit donate.healinghumanity.movie. Our goal is to reach millions of people that are hopeless right now and sharing the examples of real people over the course of 1 year that are undertaking a proper human diet to overcome obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, fertility issues. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you so much. We are also selling these shirts, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. Every penny we get from those goes towards the documentary. And last, we have memberships. If you click the little join button, it's best to do it on desktop. Under any one of my YouTube videos, you can join and become a member. We have hundreds of members right now. We do members only videos. We do members only behind the scenes. You can email me as a member and I'll answer you. And every penny from that goes to support the documentary. And the last thing is we have these Redmond's portable salt shakers. These things are awesome. You can get the best salt. You can take it with you. We sell these on the website along with our water bottles and cutting boards, and every penny from all of those goes 100% towards supporting the documentary. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which is completely free. All of these links are in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to today's video.
Your high body water percentage can be caused by high muscle mass, which is good, right? But if somebody just took a quick glance at this and they didn't realize what was going on, they would say, oh my gosh, this is heart failure. It's cirrhosis of the liver. It's kidney failure, which we just came out of your blood work. This also lines up with your blood work, 100%, which goes with your travel. So not everybody swells. Not everybody has swollen feet off a plane. I do every single time. So what is the correlation there? It is all about the sodium and the water retention from the liver to the kidneys that causes this problem. But it's not really a problem because within, maybe an hour of getting out of the car or off the plane, I walk around, it's gone. But if they continue to remain swollen for a week, you better get to a doctor. You really might have to go on a diuretic. That's something that we would pay attention to. But I absolutely loved this paper. And I looked at this and it says, analyze your muscle condition and consider if a physical examination or the hospital is needed. No, you don't need that today, but it is good words of wisdom, right? So your percent of body water is a little bit over. But again, what day did you do this? Right? And
right after a big trip. Yeah.
And this was just, I don't even know how to explain how I feel about it, because it not because it was the way it is, but it all aligns. That's what I love. Like,
yeah.
It's, when they tell you numbers don't lie, I feel like we're discussing this right here.
Right. It's like all the puzzle pieces are coming together.
Okay. So that's a water one.
Minus 0.02. And it says normal.
So yeah, because you're not at risk for that. Let's just say your water was off as it was, and you had swelling of the feet for ongoing. I would look at this number. It should be in a flare up, right? So what would be causing that flare up? You sat too long. You're not getting up and moving around. You need to start an exercise program, whatever it would be. But your edema came in perfect, like absolutely spot on. And this also ties right back into if you had an inflammation problem, whoever it is, a woman or a man, and you're holding a lot of water around your ankles, your knees, your feet, your thighs, your hips, this is something that we would want to address. If it was, you're perfect. Like, yours is so spot on. It's awesome.
All right.
Okay. So the body type, you're the same as I am. We are typically considered like a rectangular shape or mesomorph, and your muscular shape is, you are right where you should be as far as your BMI goes. And the nice thing about this is it's telling you that your body weight, your BMI is so critical to your mass index. This is huge because you have a very good structure, even after weight loss and even after, potential skin hanging or left over. And you're like, yeah, but I have this little, I feel fat. It's not fat, it's skin. And we really need to pay attention to that. And this is going to reflect right back into your visceral fat along with that. But if you notice on here, it does tell you to maintain a balanced, and I'll just say nutritional program, not a diet, and regular exercise in order to maintain this muscle mass that you have. But you have a muscular shape. You're perfect right where you are because you're over 18.5 and you're under 20, which means that you're for your age and right where you are spot on.
All
Like
right.
your mass to your shape is 100% perfect. Right arm and left arm. I love this one. This is always something that I do my absolute best to keep balanced. Symmetry is a huge thing to me coming out of the bodybuilding world. So we're looking at your right arm and your left arm, and you're 8.99 on your right, you're 8.7 on your left. You couldn't be any more balanced, right? So I think mine are like 6.44 and 6.43. That is like perfect. I couldn't ask for a better, but there are a lot of people who do everything right-handed. They don't focus on their left side or right side, whichever way you are naturally. And this leads to one becoming weak and feeble, and the other side is overtrained. So this just tells me you are not ambidextrous, but you use your body very good in symmetry. You're very balanced. Same with your right leg and your left leg, and then your torso. So it's interesting. My torso is 59.3. and yours is 65.1. We are so lined up. It's crazy. But overall, your symmetry is perfect here. Your distribution of your muscle mass is balanced. So you don't have like a huge upper body and nothing in your lower body, or vice versa, which for women, this is a little bit more of a problem. There are men who have it. Their estrogen's too high. Testosterone's not where it should be. And they will be pear-shaped or heavier on the lower body, more like a female. This can be ultimately a problem in their life with especially inflammation throughout the system. But Carrie, you're scoring an A.
All right.
Big time. And then we moved over to your fat. And I love this right here because you came in normal in the torso, which is where most people are heavier. That's where they store their visceral fat. And that fat you typically can't even see. And then your right arm and your left arm, everything here is very good symmetry. It's like perfect. I'm really happy with your results.
All right. I was shocked to see this body circumference one where it had the inches.
Again, look at how incredibly close you are. Now I'm going to take this down or up a notch based off a regular person that you might talk to. So you have a 15 inch neck and you've got 13 on both your biceps on the right, on the arm, right and left. It just means, again, you're developing your body equally. However, if you take anybody out there, typically between the chest and the waist, it's 10 inches. This is what brings, for a man, it's his lats, it's his chest. He has a V, right? And for a woman, it becomes an hourglass. So she's 10 in from her chest to her waist, and then she's 10 out from her waist to her hips. Quite frequently, a woman might have like a 34-inch waist if she's a little overweight, but she might have like 48 to 50-inch hips because she's sedentary, sitting, whatever it is. And children alone will expand the bottom half. So yeah, you are spot on here as far as your balance goes overall. And if you look at the difference from your chest to your waist, you're almost identically 10 inches. Wow. And then if you look at your hip, you're right there as well. Like literally, if you go to the gym, which we have you there, you're lifting heavier, you're on this protocol, you're going to build that upper body up just a little bit. You know, I'm not saying you do or you don't, but men who have man boobs, if they work out, it lifts all that right back up too, because it's going to reduce more visceral fat and you're going to fill the skin up, which is a balloon, but with a solid mass versus fat, because maybe before it was fat. Right.
The crazy thing to me was that this has these measurements just from standing on a scale and holding the two things. And I didn't verify all of them, but they look spot on. The crazy one is the neck too, because I remember before Carnivore, I think my neck was like over 18 inches. I remember I always had trouble getting, like, if I had to go to like a fancy wedding or something and wearing a collared shirt, I could almost not find one that would fit because my neck was so much fatter before.
So would you say at that time you were like a double X in your shirts?
Yeah, probably double X.
And then the frustrating part for most men and women is that you would get the shirt to fit your neck and it would be 2 inches long on your arms.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Or even worse, the tail is hanging past your behind. And you're
Right.
like, where do I tuck all this fabric in? But it's because we had to accommodate for spreading versus growing. Big difference.
Right.
It's interesting how it talks about the type of workout you should do, and how you want to maintain your muscle mass. This is where, you could follow it, but if you're not working out properly, it does end up being a problem. So let's hit that visceral fat super quick. Okay. Love this, Carrie. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So your visceral fat came in at a 4. Most of my clients literally start on a visceral fat right about 20. And the government between 12 and 20, they consider that somewhat normal. Could you imagine if this was, being relayed back to your doctor? They might go, are you anorexic? What's going on here? But like yourself, I keep mine at 3.4, 4. Some days it's 4.2, but literally I stay under 5 on a regular basis. And I take all my clients down to a 5. And what a difference for your organs. So we talk about how weight puts pressure on your knees and it can cause a knee injury or feet issues or calves or ankles. This pressure is unneeded. But now we look at this and your visceral fat is 4. It's a 4. That means inside your liver, which its job is to have some visceral fat, but not be fatty, right? And we want some fat inside of our body for protection, but not be fat. And you're a textbook case here. You're like absolute perfect normal. It's incredible. And I'd love to go over your, so your resting metabolic rate, you're up at about 18 to 30, 18 to 1900 calories a day. So this is why I now have you bumped up between 2 and 3, because if you went to the gym with your tank, right? Your tank has, let's say 20 gallons, which is 1800 calories, and you're going to try and make it 50 miles in the gym, you have nothing to live on. And that is one of the most important things when a person starts the exercise is where are things at? And I couldn't ask for better information here. Like literally your scale's highly recommended.
That is all great to hear.
Yeah. And overall, if you look at your, so when children are born, they get a APGAR test. This body pedia test is kind of the same thing. Babies that are born, and as you know, especially at 3 at one time, they could have each had a different APGAR test, depending on how their liver function was, their metabolic, all this stuff was drawn through their K out of their blood. And I love this because look at where your guy is. Your happy face is over at strong. Where are you going to be at 65? If this is your foundation at 43, dude, you're going to be killing it at 65. But again, you got to stay on track.
Got to maintain. Yeah. This is
absolutely
awesome. I was happy to see these results, especially the visceral fat you mentioned. Just
so good.
I had the congestive heart failure and I had appendix removed and gallbladder. I know that like having so much of that fat in there pushing on those organs wasn't doing good. And I've overcome the congestive heart failure on carnivore. I don't know how much of that was because of the visceral fat or changing the diet or working off of ketones, but I would imagine it helped in some ways. So it was nice to see that.
Well, absolutely. If you go from, ultra processed foods into the carnivore way of life, which is how we were designed to eat, you are going to heal those things. The only thing that could happen is there to be some leftover scar tissue, leftover damage. However, our body is a miracle at healing itself, and it all definitely starts with that liver. And you have shown that on these results.
Yay.
Great job.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so thankful you went through this with me too. You're awesome at explaining it all and why it's so important. I think it's really going to help a lot of people out that are watching. Coach Lisa, where can people find you if they want more one-on-one or coaching? It's lifebacksystem.com. I'll have that link in the description.
And then just Carnivore Coach on my channel. Go like, subscribe. You'll get notified if I do anything. And then you can always text back and forth there and I'll answer every question as fast as I can.
Awesome. I will have links.
Don't stop. Dude, I was so sick at your age I'm so grateful that now at 65, coming up on 66, that I'm actually healed, because the odds were against me, completely
Right.
against me. You're in your prime years with those girls, grandbabies, walking them down the aisle. The world is yours right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel so good too. I would never stop just because I feel like everyone's always like, "Oh, you're looking great. You're looking younger." I'm like, I feel incredible. I feel so good. So,
I would love to see. I wish we had, like before visceral fat and before A1C, and oh my word, what a testimony that would be. But who would have ever thought to document being sick?
right? But
No.
that's a good way to end this call. Is anyone, if you're just starting, I got a lot of people just starting carnivore. My goodness, if I could go back in time to day one, I'm on day like 750 now, and had this smart scale then and had all the blood work as a benchmark then, I wish I would have done that.
It's one of the very first things I tell my ladies is I want before and after photo. We want before photos. So side photo, front photo, back photo, and then go get some blood work. I don't care how long it's been. I don't care if you did it a week ago. I want it new. And we're going to watch that progress, because numbers don't lie. At the end of the day, they're a great thing to have. Measurements is another great thing.
Thank you so much, Coach Lisa. Really appreciate
All
you.
right.
Have a good night.
Take care,
See ya.
Carrie. Have a great night, and God bless everybody.
God
Bye-bye.
bless you too. Bye.